Moskowitz. He serves in the task force investigating the Trump assassination attempts in his 23rd congressional district. Is just a little bit south of where all of this took place. So the big question here, Congressman, is what kind of security bubble was there surrounding the former president? And you remarked the other day that if this was full presidential level security, then things have to be looked at again. What do you mean by that?
Well, John, look, they're saying that former President Trump is now getting the highest level of security. And so what I'm saying is if this is the highest level of security, based on the threats against President Trump, we need to create several higher levels of security because it just seems to be inadequate. And so, look, I don't disagree with the Secret Service that they may need more manpower. Former President Trump supports that. And so Congress should do its job to get them more manpower. But let's recognize once we appropriate the money, the hiring process, that's not going to happen for 7-8 months. What we need to figure out now is what protocols and procedures are failing. And while Butler and the Trump International Golf Course incident are different, the circumstances are different, the failures are different, the one similarity for me, at least, seems to be that the perimeter they're setting up around the former president seems to be too small. You can get too close to him, especially with the technology of weapons that are available to American people.
Yeah, you know, the Secret Service keeps saying, well, the president was several hundred yards away when Ruth was discovered, but had that eagle-eyed agent not spotted that gun barrel, Trump probably would have been 100 feet away from him when he came up to that sixth green. On this issue of what level of protection the president was receiving, there seems to be some disconnect because Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw said this. Listen here.
At this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. But because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible. So I would imagine that the next time he comes to the golf course, there'll probably be a little bit more people around the perimeter.
So that's a disconnect from what we've been hearing from the Secret Service. So which is it? Does he have the full package or not? Because Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department would be providing a lot of the security. And I think Bradshaw knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, no, obviously I know the sheriff very well. He's been a professional for several decades, one of the better sheriffs around. The sheriff has commented now that he is receiving additional local police support. And so, yeah, there did seem to be a disconnect on what was being requested for local police support before the second attempt and now. And that's why, you know, John, is what I'm saying is that we have to look at all of these policies and procedures that have been in place. I mean, I never thought in my first 2 years that I would be appointed to an assassination task force in Congress, let alone while only serving on that task force for 30 days, now talking about a second attempt. So something is clearly wrong. And that doesn't mean that there aren't great men and women heroes serving in the Secret Service. It means as a system, as a bureaucracy, we have to figure out what's not working and fix those problems.
Well, I'll tell you, whoever the agent was, we don't know who it was, who spotted that gun barrel sticking out from that sniper's nest, deserves some sort of award or commendation. No question about that.
No question. No question.
The acting Secret Service Director, Ronald Rose, says maybe it's time to rethink our security protocols. Listen to what he said.
The Secret Service operates under a paradox of zero-fail mission, but also that we have done more with less for decades. And this goes back many, 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 many decades. We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model.
What do you think of that? That they're in reactive mode right now, which I guess is protecting the president if a threat emerges, whereas what they really need to get to is a readiness model where threats like this would have been eliminated long before the president teed up on the first hole.
Well, look, obviously I find that comment slightly concerning. What do you mean? The Secret Service isn't proactive? It's only in the response model? I mean, I'm a former emergency management director of the state of Florida. You do a lot of mitigation on the front end, and then you do response on the back end. And so, look, if resources are a problem, I think Congress will meet the moment and will give the interim director, the new director, resources. But the former director who testified in the House, which was disastrous for her, which is why she's no longer the director, in addition to the failures on her watch, in addition to not going to Butler, she never talked about a resource problem. So this is new. This is something new that they're talking about, that they have a resource problem. And that's fine. We'll get them more resources, but it isn't just a resource problem, John. There is a protocol and procedure problem, and actually the Secret Service director is admitting that in his answer.
And as you point out, getting new resources is going to take months, if not years, and the election will be over long before then. Let's hope that both candidates make it to the final lap there. Congressman, I really appreciate you coming on. Good to get your thoughts.
Thanks, John.